Hey everyone, this is Anna Huthmaker and I'm from Huthmaker Violins. This is another one of our videos in our Students Stuck at Home series. It is our hope to help the teachers teach the students, give them a little bit added extra education in your day. So today, if you've been watching the video series, you know that we talked about some basic bow care, but I want to talk to you about a little bit more intermediate bow care, some stuff that you really should know about how your bow operates. The first thing I want to talk about is eyelets. Do you even know what an eyelet is? Because the truth is you can play for years and maybe not even ever see the eyelet of your bow. Now, if you choose to do this at home, first of all, I kind of encourage you not to do it. But if you do, I want you to be very, very, very careful. This is a surefire way to get your hair all tangled up and have to go in and get a rehair before you need one. First thing I did was I loosened the bow until the screw actually just came out. And when that happens, the frog comes off the stick. Now, this is where you don't want to let go. Please don't go around swinging this. Oh, can you see the rosin cloud? Swinging this, let it go, letting it just hang out. If it gets tangled up, getting it untangled is really, really difficult. So you want to hold on to both sides. But what I want to show you is this little brass eyelet. So what happens actually when you put the screw into the end of the stick, it travels in here into this eyelet. And as you tighten it, it pulls the eyelet this way. You just can't see it happening because it's happening inside the little channel of your bow. We call that a mortise, in case you were wondering. So the eyelet, it's really kind of interesting because it's this simple little piece. It's made of brass and it's fairly soft. And so eyelets do wear out from time to time. If you're playing along and all of a sudden one day your bow just won't tighten, it just turns and turns and turns and doesn't do anything, it's because the screw has worn out the brass. We call that a stripped eyelet. Now, here's the thing I want to warn you about. So it's kind of an old-fashioned idea that if your eyelet is stripped out or if your frog is wobbly on your stick, that you can adjust it by putting the screw in the eyelet and turning it. This is something that like older teachers, like when I was a kid, my older teachers back then would do this. It's a really bad thing to do. What you might not be able to see is that this is a screw, so it's got threads on it just like a regular screw. If I stick this in the eyelet and I go to turn it, now I'm an expert, I'm not going to hurt this bow, but what happens so often is that these teeth, they rub against the metal on the side of your frog. And you'll look down and you'll see a perfect little teeth marks along the edge of your silver underslide. It's pretty impossible to get rid of that. Once that happens, that's damage that's just there. And you won't even feel it happening. You won't even know it happens. So often I rehair a bow for people. They come in and I'll look down and I'll go, who adjusted your eyelet with the screw? And often they won't even know who did it. You know, it could have been before they bought the bow. But I know exactly what caused it. And I'll use that as a teaching opportunity and say, don't ever, ever, ever let anyone turn this eyelet with the screw. If you ever see anyone doing it, yell at them and say, stop. Say, Anna Huthmaker says this is a bad idea. So that's the first thing I want you to know is please, no matter what you hear out there at music camps, symphony rehearsals, please don't try to ever adjust your eyelet with the screw. When your eyelet does strip out, you just got to take it to the shop. It's not usually a very expensive repair. It can take a little time because there's about 8 million different kinds of screws, 8 million kinds of eyelets, and finding the right one that works well in the bow, it might take a day or so, but it's not a big deal, actually. So that's the first thing I want to talk to you about today. The second thing I want to talk to you about are face plates. Now, most of you guys out there have, well, obviously none of my bows have it, white at the end of your bow. This is called the faceplate. You might remember that from one of our earlier videos. And a faceplate, depending on what kind of bow you have, is plastic. It could be bone, like cow bone. It could be ivory, but that's going to be an older fine bow normally. We don't see that nearly as much anymore. But what you've got to know is, again, it's not just pretty. It is really important and it's really functional. The head of your bow, the wood, has grain that runs up and down like this, and it's actually really, really fragile. We have a mortise, or a hole, if you will, cut into the head. The hair's in there. There's a wood plug in there. This thing right here, super fragile. And if you hit it on your music stand, on someone else's bow, you can very easily break the head. Well, that's where the faceplate comes in. This is one solid piece, whether it's plastic or bone, it's one solid piece. And it provides a lot of the strength and stability for the head of your bow. It helps hold it all together. And if you ever accidentally hit this against something and you break the faceplate, your first thought is, oh man, that's going to be expensive and my parents are going to be mad at me. Yes, probably both of those things are true. However, then your second thought should be, woohoo, yay, it did its job. Because a faceplate often will not transfer vibration into the actual wood of the head. I would rather break this and spend $75 or $150 replacing it than break the actual wood. That will actually take all the value away from your bow, and it's a very expensive repair. So that faceplate is really important. What you need to know is if your faceplate breaks off and you go to get your bow rehaired, a competent rehair person is going to look at you and say, I'm sorry, I can't put hair in your bow without replacing the faceplate. They're not trying to take your money. They're actually telling you the honest truth. If somebody puts hair in your bow without a faceplate on there, that's not good. Run, screaming and find a new bow person. They've got to do that. Otherwise, when they put the hair in, they could just split the head open. Just for fun, and for a little extra credit, I'm going to show you some other faceplates. Most of us, like I said, we have that white, the plastic or the bone. Some bows have a metal. This is actually a carbon fiber bow made by John Paul Bow Company. They're here in America, and their bows are fantastic, and they always put these metal faceplates on, and I think they're really cool looking. But my favorites, I got to tell you, are the gold ones. You might remember from one of our previous videos when we were talking about gold-mounted bows. This one has a faceplate that has that matching gold, and it's really beautiful. That you don't have to worry about breaking, but you do have to worry about it denting or scratching, and you want to be very, very careful with your gold faceplates. I hope that you learned a little bit today about your eyelet and about your faceplate. So your extra credit, first go get your bow out and look at your faceplate and see what you've got. Is it white? Is it metal of some kind? Is it broken or cracked? Or is it all in one piece? And then look up silver faceplates. Google silver faceplates and gold faceplates and see what you come up with on a Google search. Do an image search and I bet you get some really beautiful bows. I hope you learned something. Tomorrow I'll have another video coming out. If you have any questions, you can reach me at huthmakerviolins.com. I'm Anna Huthmaker, and I hope you have a great day.